Today we are leaving Wisconsin Dells and we're heading to Antigo. We were at a Thousand Trails campground called Arrowhead in Wisconsin Dells, and we are heading to another Year to Volunteer project. If you remember, we did a project back in March in Tennessee, and we enjoyed it so much. We checked our schedule and their schedule, and we noticed that we could make another project work here in Wisconsin. So it's August, and that's where we're heading now. Be a few hours before we get there, but we're looking forward to a hard-working week, but filled with lots of good people and a good time.
Leaving this place, the sun's about to break. You're riding shotgun. I'm just gonna drive.
The Raptor Education Group Incorporated is a 501c3 nonprofit organization dedicated to the care and rehabilitation of injured or orphaned native bird species and public education of wildlife issues. Founded by Marge and Don Gibson, Reggie was formed in 1990. Marge has worked with wildlife for over 30 years, and she began her work with raptors as a field biologist. She has worked with many high-profile field projects, including the California Condor Recovery Team and the Bald Eagle Capture and Health Assessment Program in Valdez, Alaska, following the Valdez oil spill, where she was a team captain. Marge also teaches wildlife rehabilitation internationally. This A Year to Volunteer project had one primary goal and several secondary goals to accomplish during our 2 weeks at Reggie. These projects have been on the Reggie staff backlog for some time. We arrived to help clear that backlog so that the Reggie staff could continue the hard work they do caring for all of the birds and residents. The primary goal was to build a Passerine Enclosure which would be used to house smaller birds while they are rehabilitated and prepared for release back into the wild. The secondary goal was to construct a prefab shed, but in true A Year to Volunteer fashion, as the volunteers in our group looked around, many secondary projects were identified, including landscaping, minor repairs, and repainting many signs. While we waited for building materials to arrive, the first couple of days were not wasted. The dedicated volunteers got to work landscaping and preparing the many outdoor shelters on the property for a fresh coat of paint, which involved much scraping and sanding. Several torrential downpours forced us to stop for a few hours the first couple of days, but we all returned to Reggie later in the day to make up for the lost time. We all wanted to complete the project by the end of our 2-week stay. The Passerine Enclosure was our primary goal, but first the eagle and residents had to be relocated. Once we got access to the main enclosure, work began on designing and laying out the new rooms. This enclosure involved building 5 rooms within this existing structure. These 5 rooms are exposed to the Wisconsin weather, so they would be framed with pressure-treated lumber and covered with heavy wire mesh and cement board to separate each room. The purpose of these enclosures is to allow the recovering birds a safe place where they can build their flying skills and be exposed to the elements so that the feathers will be ready for the weather conditions when they are released to the wild. With the arrival of materials, it was all hands on deck to distribute the materials where they are needed, and work began in earnest on both the Passerine Enclosure and the shed.
one-headed hammer. Cool. Look at that.
Last nail.
What time is it? We finished on time.
Am I wrong? No.
If you'd like to learn more about Reggie and help their cause, visit their website or see the contact information in the video description below. Reggie is a 501c3 organization and your donation is 100% tax deductible. To learn more about A Year to Volunteer and to sign up for their newsletter and to sign up for a future project, visit them at ayeartovolunteer.com. There you will find information about upcoming projects and past projects. If you cannot volunteer for one of their projects, they are now a 501c3 organization and can accept donations to help fund future projects. See the Support Us link on their website.
I'm just gonna drive.
Don't forget to subscribe to our channel, click that little bell, and hit that thumbs up.